What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 8, Episode 2 of The Oval. Thanks for joining us. So, what's up, guys? How are we doing? What's going on? Anything happening this weekend? Anything going on?
Pretty good. We got some friends visiting us from Binghamton this weekend, so I'm pretty excited to see them.
Friends from where? Home or what?
Yeah, actually, it's a funny story how we all know each other because I met Tess here at Oneonta, and my friend Stella and her friend Amanda were roommates at Binghamton, and then we didn't know that prior to meeting. So when we met, we were like, hold on, like I have a friend named Stella and she has a roommate named Amanda. And she's like, well, I have a friend Amanda, a roommate Stella. And then we were like, oh my God. And then our two other friends too at Colgate, they are roommates. Same thing. Like
coincidence.
No.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we were bound to meet.
We're trying to have both groups come visit us because it works out.
It's going to be like the ultimate friend
group.
Right?
Oh yeah.
That's it
is. Friend reunion. Yeah. Crossover of the century.
Yeah, you're going to mess it up out there. I'd be scared to run into you guys.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I'm also actually seeing my friends this weekend. My hometown friends are coming back from college because their spring break's happening soon. So I think we're going to go out and get breakfast. So I'm really excited.
That's nice.
I'm also seeing my friend being my mommy. She's bringing me my contacts because I accidentally shipped them to my house and not to my Oneonta address. So I will be seeing my mommy.
Mom's a good friend.
She's a sweetheart. Yeah, shout out to you, Mom.
Honestly, shout out to all the moms out there.
Yeah. Exactly. Shout out moms on Women's History
Month.
Yeah.
Shout out to moms.
Yes.
Cool moms.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but Dua Lipa's like under some fire right now for supposedly, or allegedly I should say, copying her hit single, Levitating, which is basically like what made her Dua Lipa, I feel like. That's pretty big news. What do you guys think about it? Have you guys heard it?
I love that song. Yeah. I play that song at the kids' birthday party place I work at. Kids love it. Yeah. And hearing that, like, that's like
kind of disheartening.
Yeah.
Have you heard what they allege is like what's being copied?
Oh, it was like an older song, like
reggae.
From
I think it
reggae.
Might have been reggae. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
someone found it, and it was very similar.
It's so crazy that like so many popular songs are like coming out as like they're possibly being like plagiarized. Like there's Levitating, there was Dark Horse with Katy Perry, like a ton of songs are actually plagiarized.
Oh yeah,
it's
Blurred
like,
Lines too.
Yeah, like lines. How many of these songs are like the actual artists aren't getting the credit and they're becoming so popular and then we find out about it later. It's like, shucks.
Yeah.
I also can't believe how like songs still make it out, be so successful, and then it comes out.
I know, right? Like Levitating.
Like it went through so many people. Like how do you not pick up on that? I don't know.
No, it's been out for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
I've listened to like the original song that Dua Lipa supposedly, stole the audio from, and it's just the beat that sounds similar. Right. It's not like any of the lyrics or anything. And it's like, only a short clip too.
Yeah, like artists always sample stuff, and they can easily do that. It's weird that like, why are you getting backlash and sued for that?
If you're a fan of an artist like that, it definitely could be something upsetting because it's like you respect them for something that they create, or you're under the impression that they're creating this piece of art, and then you realize that it's stolen, and then you're like, this is the person that I was respecting.
It's disheartening too, like that someone, even like Drake is one of the people I want to mention, like he doesn't write his own stuff. So it's like, even if that were to happen, like you didn't write your own stuff, and then you get
it's not even yours,
backlash for something that you, like, you're not even really involved, but I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard nowadays, especially just because of like, I feel like rap music made it just so like blurred because of sampling. Like it's so difficult because like media law, like a big part of it is like if you take something and you make it different enough so that it's not the original thing, like if you see like a parody of like Mickey Mouse or something, like Disney can't sue them necessarily because it's like different enough. It's like a really like gray area. But like
who's to decide? Like,
exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing about media law is that it's all like precedent, and like there are like no real like laws. It's all based off like court cases that have like happened, and it's so just like vague. And the technology just like our laws can't keep up with like what's happening. So like it is interesting to see because Levitating was like huge.
And there's something about like sampling that elevates the music so much. Like if you listen to, I don't think that Young Gravy, like for example, his music would be as good without the sampling. Like the beats that he uses are all sampled off of classic songs.
Kanye West.
It's
all of his music is sampled.
And like it makes it like gives you something to relate to before you like you hear the sample and you're like, oh, that's a great song, and then they add to it. It just elevates it. So like it kind of takes away from it if you're always taking it like saying that it's plagiarism. Like
so what do you guys think?
So what I was gonna say, like growing up, like my dad, he would always like I'd play him a song like nowadays, and he'd be like, okay, I know exactly who influenced them, and I know exactly what song that's from. Like, and he'd play it for me, and I'm like,
It's the worst when you don't know too, because you're like,
yeah, because I'm like, well, it's a banger regardless. Anyway, but yeah, so it's just like weird, like how, like it's harder, like you were saying, how artists now, I feel like everyone is so influenced by the people that were before us, so it's hard to come up with new things nowadays with like music and stuff like that.
No, it really is, because there's so much of it. Like there's so much. I have this like fun theory that like you'll never find your favorite song because there's just literally so much of it.
Yeah.
And like even just stuff that's not even released, like you know, like Drake, like you said, he probably has a million songs that he's never even released.
Juice WRLD's one of the main ones that has so many unreleased.
Well, everything that he raps became a song basically, just because of his abilities. But like, I don't know, it's just crazy. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with music. Yeah. Because there's so like, where can you even take it at this point? Like, genre-wise, like it would be interesting to see if there would be another genre somehow.
Yeah, like genres always overlap with each other now.
Like it's not even a thing.
Yeah,
and there's no way for there to be a new artist without them having somebody they're getting influence from, and somebody's gonna hear that influence, like Greta Van Fleet and Led Zeppelin.
Oh my God, that is the craziest.
You instantly hear Led Zeppelin when you hear Greta Van Fleet, but like, they're their own artists. They're making their own music. How are you supposed to be like, oh, they're not their own artists. They're just they're the new Led Zeppelin. Like, yeah, obviously they have that influence, but they're still creating their own art.
Yeah.
Like,
it's mainly like his voice, I feel.
Oh, 100%.
It was funny. I saw an interview with him, and he was like, one sec, and he was like, what did he say? He's like, oh, he's like, he named like 10 of his influences, and none of them were Zeppelin, which I found that really
disrespectful,
funny.
Josh.
I know.
He just left it out.
100% left that out on purpose.
I love Greta Van Fleet, but come on.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys, when we come back, we're going to keep with the lightness of the topics, and we're going to talk about the Euphoria season finale and everything this season. So stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. So this past week, the biggest show on television right now, Euphoria, came to an end on its second season. So it's just super popular right now.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about it? I watch it personally.
It's one of my favorite
I
shows.
think it's great.
Yeah.
It's actually second now, the second most watched show on HBO following Game of Thrones.
I saw that. I was
So
surprised.
that's pretty big news.
I was surprised by that because I thought that The Sopranos would have been in there personally. Like I don't know how maybe The Sopranos was second for a while. Maybe that's.
I bet you probably
maybe
passed
that's who
it.
I feel like it has to do with the audience. I feel like that'll be an older audience thing, and they're not as into streaming. Like
this is true. Yeah, I wonder how they even calculate that.
Yeah,
you think it's through streaming?
I feel like that would make sense. Like the amount of streams it gets, how long people have watched it, how many repeats.
They could probably tell all of that. I feel
like. They 100% have statistics on it.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about the show?
I love the show. I'm not gonna spoil anything for the season finale, but
thank you.
I wouldn't. But Levinson is receiving a lot of backlash about the last episode. Partially, I'm not going to mention that for certain reasons. No, I won't do it to you. But there's been backlash for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons being that Levinson typically over-sexualizes some of the women in the cast. One being Sydney Sweeney, who plays Cassie, and the other being Barbie Ferreira, who plays Kat. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed if you watch the show that a lot of her scenes were cut because she actually opted to not do any nude scenes, and Levinson had to rewrite a lot of her parts. So that's why her storyline is kind of like under the cover, and a lot of fans are really, really angry about this. So social media has been blowing up and commenting on Levinson, re-evaluating how he treats his cast. So
I just think it's messed up that like he's gonna cut someone's scene and then because they don't want to be naked. Like,
I know like sex is a big part of the show. It's one of the big elements that like drugs, alcohol, all that. But like you can build a character storyline without having them having to do nude scenes. Like that's you're putting you're putting that character in so much
for her,
discomfort. And like Jacob Elordi's not doing that. Like why are you putting so many of the female actresses into that spot?
I haven't seen the show myself, but I've heard obviously rumors about the show itself, and I've heard that there's also a lot of explicit content. But I know that Zendaya is in the show, so I was really surprised to hear that, because whenever I think of Zendaya, all I can think about is Shake It Up. When I was like 7 watching that show on Disney Channel, so it's kind of.
And then you throw her into an environment where she's like, she's doing hard drugs.
I was like, what?
And everyone's like, where's CC? What is this?
Was it intentional or something like that?
Yes, it was intentional. Levinson did it on purpose because he wanted that feeling of oh my gosh, this is an uncomfortable situation watching somebody who I grew up watching in a children's show on Disney Channel, on an HBO show where everything's, uncensored, and she's actually playing somebody who has a drug problem. So he kind of wanted it to give you that feeling.
It's pretty
So he wanted to give you that feeling because of how, drug addicts can be anybody, and that's kind of the point. It's supposed to give that outside feeling for the viewer.
I love that he did that. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Yeah, that
She
was
really
smart.
shows what I feel like drug abuse is like.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna go into like my personal self and whatever, but like just, you see some things and whatnot, and like her acting is phenomenal, like so good, like for some of the scenes that she had to do, like I can't even describe. It literally is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on her for a long time, honestly. I was kind of a hater of Zendaya for a minute there.
You were a hater.
Because I don't know, like I felt like she was very overhyped for a minute there. Like she was in all that Spider-Man stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like really, like I don't know, it just felt like there wasn't that much there for a while to me. Like I felt like her characters didn't really have much depth, and I even felt that way for like the first season, honestly. But I feel like this season, like I was really impressed with her acting. Like the couple of times, like she did depict that really, really well.
Yeah,
like
the
that
fighting
one,
and
yeah, that one solo episode where it's pretty much
Oh
just
my
her.
God.
Is like,
I get chills even thinking about
yeah,
it.
Yeah, me
it was
too.
like, yeah, even just regardless of the show, like it was one of like the better like television episodes I've seen in a while. So she definitely like impressed me.
Yeah, they pushed her into a lot of one-dimensional roles in like her lifetime, and it's
100%.
been like a lot of like she's a beautiful woman, obviously. So they're like, oh, she can play MJ, and like, but once you're adding in that level of like, you have to portray these dark themes. I think that's when you instantly become such a great actress.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those are just harder to do.
Yeah, like not everyone, and the mental like state that you have to be in to put that on film, like I can't even imagine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to have range to be able to play like a happy-go-lucky, and this total opposite.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part about the show though is definitely like the cinematography. Like, 100%. It's just so cool. Like it is, and the plot's over-dramatized. Obviously, it kind of feels like Riverdale on crack sometimes. But like, it's
Perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like it's still fun though, and like, but some of the shots are like really incredible. Like the way that the cinematographer. I don't know how involved Sam Levinson is with it.
He only directed, I think it was 3 episodes, but he wrote all 18-hour-long episodes.
See, I also heard that Euphoria is based on, I heard that there was another Euphoria show from like
Israeli.
2012 or something.
Yeah. He loosely based off of it, but the experiences that the characters show, like Rue's character, it's actually loosely based off of Sam Levinson's experience, which is another thing that he got backlash for, is that
His own personal experience?
Yeah, he had drug
abuse
problems.
problems.
So it's loosely based off him, but that's another reason that he was getting backlash, is that this white man was using a very diverse cast to tell his own narrative.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were not too keen on that.
Yeah.
But then again, he did really do an excellent job demonstrating what it was like for a teen to be a drug addict.
If I want someone to be educated on, like, obviously it's over dramatized, but like if I want someone to be educated on what drug abuse kind of looks like not actually the feel for it, but like just watch that show.
That one episode with
watch that episode. Like not even the
Zendaya
show,
and
like
her
just
family,
watch
Rue
that.
family.
Yeah, it really just, it was just crazy. I was like, oh my God.
Any kind of wacky theories on the show? Because I have one. I like the one. I just like the one that Rue is obviously the narrator, so just the fact that she's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Like I read something also that she could just be dead. Like it could just end with her being dead, and she's just like reliving her life or something like that. I do kind of like it because like if you do think about the show, it's obviously, as I said, like super over dramatized, like the color, all that crazy stuff. But like I don't know. Like Rue, it seems like for some reason everything's so crazy. Like maybe it's just her because she's on drugs, so she's just thinking about it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if that's going to be the case, well, I can't spoil anything, but we'll have to see for the first episode of the 3rd season.
I know.
I really want to know what happened, because I know I think it was episode 1, season 1, they've got a picture of Nate's family, and there's a third brother who's like, I saw a theory of where it's like Dominic Fike's character is the third brother. The timeline doesn't work out, and I feel like he doesn't like fit in with the family.
Like how would
visually speaking,
a weird combination of people, in my opinion. Like the Jacob.
But maybe that's why.
Dominic Fike. No, you're right.
Could be.
Oh, did you guys?
We'll see.
Well, oh, you didn't see the episode, but there's just the song. Like it's coming out on Friday. It's a really good song.
Long.
That
also was something that was received
everyone should
backlash.
listen to it.
Go look that up.
What?
Look up Dominic Fike's song.
Right now?
No, on the camera.
Oh,
Not
look it
you.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, right now you want to look
No,
like,
all right, no, the camera. All right, so we'll be back in a second. A little bit more serious topic, but stick with us. Welcome back, everyone. So obviously, there's still a major conflict going on in the world between Russia and Ukraine, so we don't want to ignore it here on the Oval. So recently I heard that something came out about the Olympics. I'm not sure what it was exactly.
Well, that was just the International Olympic Committee.
Oh yeah? What'd they say?
Well, to my knowledge, basically what's going on is Russia and Belarus have been kicked out of competing in any world games. So they can't compete in the World Cup, they can't compete in the Olympics. Anyone that tries to compete within, serving for their countries, Russia or Belarus, they have to compete as neutral. Mm-hmm. So that's been like a huge thing, for athletes all around the world.
So the Russian athletes can still compete?
They cannot.
As neutral though?
That seems interesting.
I mean,
Oh,
Not
they
so
can't.
much. So say like someone from a different country is Russian and they try to compete as, supporting Russia and as like the Russian country, they're not allowed to.
I wonder what they would like wear and how they would represent themselves. Like, what do they say? I'm neutral.
Honestly,
I feel like
I
that
have
makes
no
sense
idea.
though,
Your uniform
because
is
the athletes that are like loyal to Russia in this sense, they'll probably not compete if Russia's not allowed to compete.
Yeah.
But those that are standing up against Russia, like there's Rublev, he's a tennis player, and he wrote on the camera in Dubai after he had a win, he wrote like stop the war or something. And like those, it makes sense that they're gonna like stand against Russia, and they're probably gonna be fine with being neutral or just competing as themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, Russia was actually like banned from the Olympics before because of like doping and stuff.
Yeah,
So they've been
yeah.
they've been operating under like the Russian Olympic Committee, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna even allow that anymore. Which so at this point it seems like it's kind of like this whole narrative of like the world against Russia at this point. From everything that I've kind of been seeing on the news.
Even Swiss.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, what happened
Hear
with
about
this?
Swiss?
No,
Switzerland.
tell me about
Yeah,
that.
Switzerland breaking their neutrality
Right.
in 200 years.
I think it's even more. I think it's like 500.
Yeah,
They-
around
what did they cut
that.
off?
Yeah,
It's
I think
crazy.
you may be right.
What'd they cut off from Russia?
They froze their assets
Yes.
and there were sanctions
Right.
put in place. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty crazy.
That's
to just-
wild.
Right, because Switzerland's like not in NATO or anything, right? They're like totally.
They're like they've
their
always been
own
neutral.
thing, right?
Maintain neutrality through like hundreds
hundreds
Right.
and hundreds
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I'm sure that have you guys like? I mean, it's wild also just on TikTok. I find how crazy it is the fact that we're like watching a war unfold.
Yeah.
On
This is
TikTok.
like the first
Before
time
our
we've had a
eyes.
war
It's
like up
incredible.
close and personal with social media. Like, what are the effects
Yeah.
it's going to have on us, on kids growing up that are seeing this? And
TikTok's like a primary document.
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
people
It
are
literally is.
Reporting directly what is happening in Ukraine. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. That these videos you can just see it on your For You page.
I
and
know.
we're seeing
Crazy.
like protests in Russia against the war, like
Yeah.
through social media. If we didn't have that access through social media, the likelihood that we would find out about this is so low, and we wouldn't see people that are directly fighting against their country and saying like, "Hey, this isn't okay."
Yeah.
But like because of social media, we're able to see that.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful, honestly, because I remember like with Libya and like Egypt and when all those things were happening with like the Arab summer or the Arab Spring, and that was like motivated a lot through social media. Like same thing with like the Black Lives Matter movement. Like social media really drove that. So like it's like tough on TikTok because of like the whole like obviously kids and like everyone. It's just on their For You page,
Yeah.
so you like can't
Open the app
stop.
and see it.
But I feel like it's also a good thing because it holds them accountable. Like you can't just get away with it anymore. Like war crimes, all that crazy war stuff, like everything with World War II, World War I, we've only ever seen, videos and pictures 100 years later. Like we're seeing it real time as it happens now. And I feel like it is beneficial, honestly, because it holds them accountable. It really does. Like I saw a video of like a Georginian, is that how you say it? Georginian ship? Yeah. And they were, and like a Russian like fuel tanker or a Russian ship was like stuck in the middle of the
I
ocean.
saw that. That was
Yeah.
great.
And he's like, no, like we're not gonna help you. You're Russian. Like, go F yourself,
He
basically.
said, you need to ride back to Russia.
Yeah.
Both laughed actually, which I
Yeah.
thought was like.
The biggest video I've seen is, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the grandmother. Have you seen her go up with the flowers? That one I feel like is like the biggest one. So this grandmother, this old Ukrainian woman walks up to all these Russian soldiers and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?" Blah, 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 blah. And then she says, "Put these sunflower seeds in your pocket so when you die, sunflowers will grow." That's what they said. That's what she said. Yeah, it's like trending all over.
And sunflowers is the national flower of Ukraine, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's why I think. Yeah, so that way when all the Russians lose, sunflowers will be everywhere. That's what they say. But I've also heard that.
Symbolic.
I know, isn't that crazy? Look up the video. It's super
Ukrainian
cool. It's super cool. But I've also heard that Russia is having trouble actually taking over Ukraine, from what I've heard.
Yeah, they're putting
all
up a
the
fight.
sanctions
Resisting.
being
Yeah,
placed
like-
on it, and Ukraine fighting back.
I heard that they're resisting, like Kiev is like they're like Russia's like having a ton of trouble, and I heard that Putin's getting like frustrated.
Because they have their civilians like going at.
Yeah, they do.
Tiring them out basically. So
They have everyone.
I saw it was the winner of Miss Ukraine, and she was literally taking up arms to fight alongside her fellow countrymen. Like the amount of people that are just laying down their lives in the sake of their country is insane. And it's not just the world against Russia. I think it's the Russian citizens against Russia. Like the only real powers are Putin and the government. Like I feel like they're gonna fall at some point. They've got nobody on their side except for like maybe China with that and Taiwan.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So I've talked to my family members about this, but they have this whole theory about how if Russia takes over Ukraine completely and it becomes another Belarus, that China's going to be like, oh, if they can do it, like they're the big dog. That means like, we can do it, and they might take over Taiwan, and then who knows what that could start.
Yeah, I feel like that would even be like North Korea and South Korea as well. Like they kind of think the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the whole World War III thing is very scary because like if it feels like Russia will probably like unfortunately win this thing, and it's like what's the step? What will happen after that?
what's next? Like what are they taking over next?
Yeah.
I feel like at this point that is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ukraine's going to be another Belarus, but I don't think Russia's going to be able to attack or invade any of the Balkan states or anything within NATO. So I don't know, but we'll see. It's kind of scary to think about.
It is scary.
Just add it to another thing on the list of things that our generation is seeing crumble: COVID, World War III, the environment. It's
We're
fine.
literally watching history unfold.
Yeah.
I heard something about something happening with the environment. Did you guys hear anything about that? I think I saw something on Twitter. I don't know much about it. I didn't read up on it, but it's like I don't know. Climate's just going to crap right now. So, but there's something like specific, and I'll add to the list. But yeah, I'm not really too knowledgeable about it, so I don't want to talk about it. But
Maybe that's a next time topic.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen with this thing, honestly. What do you guys think is going to happen?
I don't know. I feel like the guys.
Do you think that we'll get involved before
Only
Ukraine?
if a NATO country gets
So you
attacked.
don't think that if Russia takes over Ukraine that we'll get involved whatsoever?
I don't think they're
Like boots on the ground, I'm saying.
I think people will want to, but I don't
Yeah.
think there is like a solid reason that we can because they aren't a part of NATO. So unfortunately, I don't think America will step in, but I
Yeah.
think they would, obviously, if one of the NATO countries became invaded.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think we're gonna try and get involved in any way we can without being actually there. But I don't know what that means for us. Like people are talking about this draft. The draft happening? Is it not happening? What's this? That? I don't know. I feel like Putin's just very unpredictable in what he's gonna do, and it's like we all kind of have to like figure out what we're gonna do based off what he does.
Yeah.
But it sucks that it's like that. Like he's so unpredictable as a leader of like this massive country, and it's just.
And it's scary because so many things are being done to try and stop them. All the sanctions, people fighting back. Yet, and we're all like, okay, he can't do anything because all of this is on him. Like they're economically,
Right.
they're doomed.
Yeah, they are right
they
now.
literally can't do anything. But I don't
Yeah.
even think that's gonna stop him.
Yeah.
So like he's probably gonna.
It's like the way he treats his people, regardless. Anyway, it's not in a way like it's like he has what he wants, and it's like he doesn't really care about.
hungry.
Yeah, he doesn't care
think-
about his
Yeah.
civilians. So
Moldova's next. I'm gonna put that out there. I think that's what's next.
Yeah,
Knock on
no.
wood, they're not.
Yeah.
And it's scary because it's like it's 2022. Like, why is there a conqueror like person? Why is that even a thing?
He's a dictator. Like.
He is a dictator. He
There's
hasn't
no
been
stopping him.
democratically elected ever. And
Yeah.
yeah, I remember like I forget. Was he the one? He did something weird, didn't he? Like, wasn't there like some conspiracy where he like killed his something. I don't
Oh
know.
no, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
No idea.
I learned about it in school. I don't remember exactly, but he is a crazy, crazy man. So I really don't know. Have you seen that that video of him working out? It's the funniest thing in the
Yeah,
world.
I have.
Workout video?
Maybe
Yeah.
we should just
And
cyberbully.
the
His
form is
horrible.
horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no.
just need to cyberbully him.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Well, speaking of that, do you know the TikTok account like Anonymous?
Yes.
That they like became popular during the Black Lives Matter movement. They have also been involved in like trying to implement like cyber attacks and stuff, and like posting things all over TikTok. Yeah, I didn't realize how relevant they still were because they stopped coming up on my For You page. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens in the coming days. Otherwise, I think that wraps us up for today. So appreciate you guys watching us. Yeah, have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.